It's with a heavy heart, but with an absolute necessity and a determination to beat this Delta strain, just as we did a few weeks ago, that the Chief Health Officer and the Public Health team have recommended to me and my Cabinet colleagues that we lock Victoria down from 11:59pm tonight until 11:59pm next Tuesday night.
Hi everyone, Rukshan here and welcome to next Tuesday night. Well, if you're in Melbourne, in Victoria like I am, you'd know we're still in lockdown. And this video, I'm actually going to look at the statements made by Daniel Andrews, I think about 4 days ago, and the statements he made today when he extended the lockdown. And what I'm trying to illustrate to people here is that, particularly those who are still under his trap of, falling for his word salads and the way he constructs these sentences and the way he gives hope to the people of Victoria with the same lines, same lies, same deceit, same deception, every single time he gets up there to speak. So I'm going to just compare these two press conferences and show you how he does it. And maybe you can kind of take something away from this and share this with your family and friends into how much this guy is hoodwinking all of us with his nonsense and why we should not take anything he's telling us at face value. Everything he's saying, there is some element of deception. Now, many of us, when he introduced the snap lockdown for 5 days, already knew that this government would never just lock down for 5 days. But he has to just ease you into it, Victoria. He has to ease the public into these longer and longer lockdowns. Don't for a second believe that they're actually telling you the truth when they're speaking at the podium. But anyway, let's see what he said today.
We need more time. And that's why, on the advice of the Chief Health Officer, we will extend these lockdowns for a further 7 days. We are all going to work very, very hard to have Victoria begin the process of opening up at midnight next Tuesday, the 27th, so 7 days from midnight tonight. We wish we could bring this in earlier, but we can't run the risk.
There you have it. So, I mean, the language is a bit different to last time, but you have the same kind of thing. Public health advice, they said, I got to do it, so I'm doing it, and we can't run the risk. Now, that's kind of the opening lines of how he introduces the lockdowns to the public. Now, let's have a look at the statements following that.
We want to deal with this with a short, sharp lockdown, decisive action, not waiting, not dawdling, not delay. Hard and fast, you only get one chance. Now is our time. This is the time to do this. That's the advice that's been provided to me, and that's the decisions that I have made.
So he's, very confident in the decision that he's made, right? Hard and fast. He's making a very decisive decision to take action. We've got to do this now. We've got to go hard and fast, and we can get on top of this, right? So that's why I need 5 days from you, Victoria. That's why I need 5 days. We're going to go hard and fast and end it right here. Anyone watching at home, that's how people would maybe take his message, right? They'd be kind of like, okay, we got to do this, right? One more time. We got to do it one more time. Let's see what he said today.
Is not what we wanted to have to do, but it is the only option. It's what must be done. And Victorians, as always, will continue hard and fast and early, and that means this thing can be over much sooner than would otherwise be the case.
So, almost the exact same language. Obviously, he's tied it into what's happened previously. But he's saying we've got to go hard and fast, and Victorians know how to go hard and fast. And I think, we know how to fall for these people telling us that we know how to go hard and fast. But what I'm trying to illustrate here is that when he started the 5-day snap lockdown, that's what he said. And when he's asking for the 7-day extension, he's saying the exact same thing to you once more. Let's keep going.
Is essentially a repeat of the successful strategy from just a couple of weeks ago. That was successful then. This will be successful now.
So, that was kind of that statement that he would have made people feel like, hey, it was successful last time. So he's talking about when James Merlino was the acting premier, and we had that snap lockdown that never really ended. So I don't know what success he's talking about, but apparently they managed to snuff out the Delta variant in Victoria. again, so he's saying that it was successful then, it'll be successful now. So give us these 5 days. Don't complain about it. Just go with it. It's just 5 days. Let's see what he says now.
So far, the strategy is unfolding exactly the way we'd like it to unfold. But we have had a couple of super spreader events, whether they're...
So now, it was successful last time, and we're going to employ the same kind of strategic thing to deal with it. But unfortunately, we've had these super spreader events. I mean, don't these people foresee these possibilities and, create their messaging and the way they communicate with the public based on that? I think they do. But what they actually tell you is the softcore version, right? 5 days. Whereas the actual truth is that they've always needed extra longer time, the way that they carry on about dealing with these issues, right? But they tell you the 5 days earlier, just to keep it nice and simple. Now that we've gone into needing an extra 7 days, it's the same story all over again. Let's keep going.
If we all do the right thing though, the advice to me, and the advice from the public health team, which is why it's 5 days, is that 5 days is what's needed. This is less complex than the one we did a couple of weeks ago. It's only 2 chains of transmission that we know of. It is Delta, so it's the same very, very infectious strain. They're confident they can get their arms not just around it, but get out in front of it and suppress it, like put it out, in a 5-day period. I cannot guarantee.
Now, to be fair, at the end of that video, he did say he cannot guarantee it. But again, listen to the bloke. He's saying that, they're very confident. They can get in front of it. They're going to put their arms around it. It's worked before. It's going to work again. And clearly, now that we've gone into another 7-day extension, it hasn't panned out exactly the way that Daniel would have hoped, right? And so what does he say this time around?
I just want to reassure Victorians that our contact tracers are doing an amazing job. Our lab technicians, everybody across the whole team is working as hard as they possibly can. We are seeing positive signs that our strategy is working.
Look, I don't want to, bag out the people that are doing the hard yards, contact tracing, and doing all this kind of work. But in terms of what Daniel is saying, he's saying, no, it's, everyone's doing their job. Everything's going great. We just haven't got in front of it though. And we haven't got our arms around it yet, but we're still doing the hard yards and we're doing the work. So clearly, at the end of that, he also says strategically still kind of going to plan. Obviously, it's not. It's not going to plan the same way that he said that it's possible it'll go to plan when he announced the 5-day snap lockdown originally. So again, he's just kind of messing with these words and putting new expectations out there for the public to accept. Let's keep going.
But I'm confident that we can get not just around it, but we can get out in front of it. That's how you really put the thing out. That's what we have to do.
So Dan obviously loves using metaphors, and this is his Delta fire, and he's going to get around it. He's going to put it down. So let's see how that's going.
And more time is required for us to be certain and to be confident that we have in fact extinguished this. This lockdown will not last an hour longer than it needs to, and no place across the state will be shut a moment longer than it needs to be.
Yeah, so clearly Daniel has not been able to put the fire out just yet and get his arms around it. But again, he's using that same kind of metaphor, same language to kind of convince you that we need more and more time. And the reason that I keep illustrating these things, and I'm sorry if I'm offending people by laughing, but it's just the way that he's going about it. And I watched a lot of the other press conferences from the other premiers as well, and they don't quite go about it in this manner. But Dan likes to, add these extra little bits and pieces in there to kind of push his message along. Anyway, I'll keep moving on.
We are going to do everything we can to try and extinguish this thing, put it out in 5 days. Can't do it alone. I can't guarantee that's what happens, but we're all working as hard as we can. As I said, it didn't start here, but we're determined to make sure that it ends here.
Again, with the fire metaphors, But he says a very interesting thing, right? We're going to work hard, and obviously he's getting the people involved, the community involved. But then he does this thing where he's like, oh, it didn't start here, but we're going to end it here. So, he's just kind of like trying to rally the troops, right? He's trying to rally the people in Victoria to kind of get involved, do what must be done, and we're going to end this Delta virus here in Victoria. Now, let's see how if he's changed his tune since that point. All right, let's check it out.
Months, if we continue to see Delta incursions, is lockdown the only answer, given that mass vaccination's a long way off?
No, I go back to, I think it's very difficult to answer that question and without knowing exactly where Sydney will be. It's very much dependent upon the virus numbers in Sydney, measures that they may put in place.
So there you go, Victoria. When we had the 5-day snap lockdown announced, Daniel was like, you know what? As Victorians, as Melburnians, we're going to put this thing out. We're going to end it here. And now he's at the stage where he's trying to flip the narrative, right? He's trying to change it around. Now it's dependent on Sydney. This is a man that's gone from ending it here to, well, we've got to see what happens in Sydney now before we can, give a definitive on whether future lockdowns will be required. So again, he's using the same kind of language and tactics about, hey, it's from somewhere else. We're going to end it here. We're going to finish it off here. We need 5 days. Now it's from somewhere else, and I can't give you a proper answer on how long it'll go for because of it's from somewhere else. So see how he's used the same kind of thing to determine how long something goes for. This is a bonus clip. This is Daniel talking about something else. Let me give you a second.
It is, however, necessary for us to go further and to add these 7 days to this lockdown. At the end of that 7 days, we will have done everything we possibly can, not just as a government and a public health team, but as a community. I'm very confident of this, to get out of this lockdown and begin the process of opening up.
Now, this is actually different from what he said last time he announced the snap lockdown. This time, he almost gives a guarantee that in 7 days that, he's very confident that things will go back to normal, whatever that is. So if we were to believe him this time, apparently this is 7 more days that we need, Victoria, and things will be back to normal. Now, I'm going to leave this with a clip that from the previous snap lockdown announcement. And it's Daniel talking about, grading performances. And, I want you guys to think about what grade you would give Daniel for his performance. All right, let's play the clip.
Or being a marker, a grader of others. That's not my job. You can do that if you choose to. What's more, I think Victorians can make up their own minds. When they see some of the stuff they've seen, they can make up their own minds about these things.
All right, Victoria, so you've seen some of the stuff that you've seen. Make up your mind. Try to figure out what grade this bloke deserves. And I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully not in another, 7 days where we're talking about, where I'm comparing 3 press conferences because he's extended it again, all right? Hopefully we don't get to that stage. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.